Good morning, Adam here, and we are going live. And I see a few people are in already. So, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And this is for anybody that's catching this as a video, if it's not Sunday morning at 11 Eastern Time, or if you're catching this live for that matter. You're welcome to the Medium channel where we talk about all things spiritual related to spirit communication, mediumship, psychic development, and stuff like that. And if you're new, we do uploads every Thursday. We do our tarot time now every Sunday at 11 a.m. And every now and then we have special events. Like I'm going to be doing two separate energy transmissions, channeling on the channel, channeling on the channel twice a month, once on the full moon and once close to around the new moon or around that time. And speaking of which, a week from Monday, Heather Astara, that does my editing for the Medium channel, who's also an amazing healer. She and I do a new moon event every new moon, which makes sense, right? A new moon event every new moon on Zoom. So I do my energetic transmission and channeling, and she does group healing. So anyway, who's in? Hi, Susan. Hi, Janice. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Chris. Hi, Judy. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Michael. All right. I'm glad to see my fellow castaways are all with us this morning. All right. So, for the newer people or anybody coming in, I'm going to talk for just a couple of minutes and greet people. And then we're going to start with the tarot stuff. So in these sessions, I do a little maybe mini tutorial about tarot cards, do a meditation card, do a little 3-card forecast for us as a collective consciousness and what's going on planet Earth, and then finish up with a little message from the angel. So that's the agenda for today. And I see people are coming in. Hayana on the West Coast. So if you're new or you want to reveal where you're watching from, feel free to do that. But it's a beautiful, sunny, though crisp and cold day here in the Catskills. But we're going to get our first taste of spring next week, where we might even hit 60 up here come Wednesday. So that's good. So spring is coming, and we had a really long and kind of weird void of course moon yesterday, leaving Sagittarius, and it's now in Capricorn today. And I just figured I'd mention that in case you had a crazy ungrounded day yesterday. When the moon goes void of course, that's basically in astrology, that's when the moon passes its last major aspect, like a square, conjunction, opposition, or trine in a sign. Then it's said to be void of course until it reaches its next sign. So that happened in Sagittarius, 4:44 a.m. here on the East Coast yesterday. And yeah, and it's almost like a mini Mercury retrograde. Like people tend to feel ungrounded. It tends to be a little bit hard to get motivated, but it is excellent for internal work, shadow work, and spiritual work and stuff like that. But anyway, moon's in Capricorn. We're back in business. So let us begin. And today I wanted to talk about the aces. That idea just kind of came up in my mind last night when I was thinking to myself and asking Spirit, what the heck are we going to talk about on tarot time tomorrow? And then I heard, how about the aces? So maybe that's Spirit's way of saying a lot of us are having new beginnings, because the aces, which are the ones in the tarot, lead into the various suits. So I'm sure most of you know this, but I shouldn't make assumptions, right? Because that's, what is it, the ASS/U/ME, right, from the Odd Couples. But the tarot has 4 suits, and the playing cards, your regular playing cards, came out of tarot cards, so that there's a distinct parallel between the two. And when you get an ace coming up, that's like the root of that suit. So that carries the power and vibration of all the cards within that suit, but it also represents new beginnings. Wands are new beginnings. So, for example, like an Ace of Wands, Wands is fire, Wands is energy. So it's if you connect with the Ace of Wands, basically what's happening is you're connecting with new beginnings, connected to energy, connected to fire, which can be passion. It can relate to what you do in life, like your career and your hobbies and stuff like that as well. And a lot of times in tarot readings, if you get a lot of wands, it's pertaining to career issues. So that's another sub meaning of that. But generally speaking, wands is fire, wands is energy. So if you get like the Ace of Pentacles, well, Pentacles is earth, and Pentacles is all things of the earth, including money, including home, including jobs, including resources. So if you get the ace there, that's like a new beginning in that area, and it carries the powers of all the cards in that particular suit. And then swords is the mental card. It's the east, it's air. Although I think in the tarot, swords are actually in the west and wands are in the east, and cups are in the south and pentacles in the north, I think. Is Christine in? Any tarot experts in? Welcome back. Thank you, Corey. Cody, not Corey. Yeah, this was an interesting morning because I got up, I did my meditation early, I laid back down, and I fell back asleep and woke up at 9:30. So I've been kind of scrambling to get ready since, because I like to have 3 hours in the morning to just do my spiritual thing, do my yoga and stuff. But anyway, life had a different meaning. Maybe it's that void of course moon. And then what suit did I miss? Wands, swords, pentacles, cups. How could I forget cups? Cups are emotions. So when you get the ace of cups coming in, it's a new beginning with emotions, usually happy emotions like love. So cups is often, it's hearts in playing cards. So cups is often taken as the as the suit of love, also, and the suit of emotions. All right, so 28 people in, so we're coming in. Well, who came to me? Hi, Maria. Yes, okay, and hi, KD. All right, so let us pull a card. This will be for our meditation card for this collective group. That's the 29 people that are presently on, which is going to go up because it usually does. Plus, we average maybe about, at this time, in this place, in this relatively new channel, about maybe, I don't even know, about 200, I think, watch this as a video. But whatever. If you're watching this as a video, this is for you also. And I'll explain, as I did a little bit last week, about how I like to meditate with tarot cards. And originally, tarot cards, as far as like what's known history, according to Rachel Pollack, and other authors, that it was actually derived through prints made by an artist named Bonifacio Bembo, I think his name was, in the court of King Ferdinand II, I believe. And this is in the Renaissance, but the cards were actually depicted as medieval figures. And then scholars later on ascertained that these are really tools for meditation, and that the tarot is like the book of life, so to speak, or the 78 possible energies of life, or I was going to say archetypes, but that's not accurate. According to Carl Jung's version of archetypes, has a different meaning. But anyway, I think that you get the idea. So it was thought to be more of a meditation tool and a wisdom tool, more than like a divination tool. Like divination is doing readings and giving choice center predictions and stuff like that as well. So I'm mixing cards up, and this will be for our collective group a meditation card that you can work with every day and see what messages that you get from spirit. I always look at tarot cards as like a tool of mediumship, really, because there's certain spiritual energies associated with tarot cards based upon their meanings, based upon their history, and based upon our human belief system, what we believe in tarot and divination and stuff like that. So this is the card. This is the card they're telling me to pull. So this is the Hierophant, or Hierophant, depending on that. I'm angling this away from the glare. one of these days I'm going to really shock you guys and get streaming software and not rely on my webcam with this small image and be like, wow, Adam's gone high tech, yay. The Hierophant is key 5 in the major arcana. It relates to the energies of the sign Taurus and is basically a figure. Sometimes in some decks it's called the Pope. So Hierophants are like spiritual or religious figures, and basically he's sitting in between the two pillars, and he's kind of like in this deck anyway, he's kind of holding like his little spiritual tools and his fingers up in a certain way, but he's kind of sitting in between, and it's like, what's behind the Hierophant? What's in between these pillars? So when you do your meditation, if you want to do this, get nice and relaxed, get into your breathing, get present in the present moment. Excuse me. And then when you meditate, imagine yourself stepping into the card. Like we can only see like a little, it's almost like looking through like a little glass window, right? Into just a very small segment of the scene with this figure sitting in. But what's happening panoramically? So this is maybe about 2 or 3 degrees, but there's 360 degrees in the scene. So when you step into the card, start looking around and seeing what else is in the card, and then see if you can get behind this guy who has a lot of wisdom, but a certain amount of dogma, and is kind of saying, listen to me, and then you don't have to see what's behind what's behind me and what's in between the pillars. So see if you can get wisdom in between the pillars, and that would be a really good meditation for you. And I'm kind of being reminded of this movie I saw years ago. I came into spirituality through martial arts training, and I had to do seminars with great martial artists like Danny Inosanto, for example, back in the day. And there's this movie, it was called Circle of Iron, with David Carradine. And if anybody's a martial arts enthusiast, you may know that one. It was supposed to be called The Silent Flute, and Bruce Lee was supposed to be the star, but unfortunately Bruce Lee passed away, so they brought in David Carradine. And basically it's about a spiritual seeker going through different steps of like initiation and martial arts training, so forth and so on, until he gets to this island finally, or this mountaintop, I don't even remember, with Christopher Lee, at the top of the mountain. And basically there was this book of enlightenment, and everybody would go through all these trials to see what was in the book. In this case, what's behind the Hierophant, which can represent status quo in spirituality or dogma or whatever you want to call it. And you'd finally go in, and basically, the message he got was like, you can stay here and be one of the close ones. You never have to look into the book, but you can enjoy these gifts of being close to this and being on a very high level. But his name was Cord also. The spiritual seeker was like, no, I'm going to see the book. I've come all this way. I've gone through all these trials, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to see the book. So he goes in, he rushes in, he shows him the book, and every page there's a mirror. And that's the Book of Enlightenment, was the mirror. So anyways, perhaps you'll find a reflection of yourself behind the Hierophant. When we do spiritual work, that's what we find in the end, because you're already spirit. So you're doing all the spiritual seeking for what? To find out who you truly are, basically, behind all the dogma and all the craziness and all the programming and conditioning of society. And that's that message from the Hierophant. So, and I see a couple other people came in the middle of that. So send pics. Hope you 30 minutes before premiere. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nearsighted. This Tuesday, I'm getting my other cataract surgery done, and then I'll get reading glasses. I'll actually be in specs, and I won't have to squint to see what you all are saying, hopefully. So what I'm going to do now, anyways, I'm going to do a little mini 3-card reading. This will be for us as a collective group today, and anybody that sees this in a video, you automatically become part of this energy. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, next Sunday it's going to be fun because daylight savings times begin. So it's basically going to be 10 a.m. even though the clock's going to say 11 a.m. So if I'm a little bit foggy now, and I did mediumship 10 out of the last 12 days, so my brain's a little bit from all the energy that it takes to raise my frequency to connect with the afterlife. But so these three cards will just be basically trends that may affect us in the outside world, as well as what's going on with us collectively. And we'll see what comes up. So I'll just pull three cards and put them on my high-tech clipboard so you can all see them. And this one. So, wow, this is intense, guys. And it's very appropriate for waning moon energy, because the moon's waning until I think it's new next Sunday, maybe Monday. Moon is very emotional energy. They're all upside down. It's going to be an upside down week, everybody. Maybe the moon will be void of course all week. I don't know. But in any regards, the moon is very emotional energy. We have a nice mix of energies here because we have, this water component. This is the moon is actually relates to the energies of the sign Pisces in astrology. Then we have the sword, which is more mental. Then we have the wands, which is more energetic. So it almost looks like there's a real kind of a clash going on between masculine and feminine principles, between active and passive principles. And these bound figures are interesting because that shows limitation, though in its reversed quality, this could also represent things to the nature of coming out of that restrictive energy. And where the 10 of wands is or 10 of rods in this deck, this is the Hanson Roberts deck, by the way, is showing moving forward but carrying a lot of weight, whether it's responsibility or weight from the past or whatever. In reverse, like all this is kind of saying that we have we had the ability this week, for whatever reason, the energies are lined up this week, that we can let go of a lot of stuff we've been holding on to collectively, as a group here doing tarot time today, as a collective. But it all comes down to emotions and feelings. And I feel like it's been, we'll say, relatively calm the last few weeks. And by the way, you can always go to my last week's tarot time to see if what I was saying actually made any sense to you during the week. I mean, what do they say with psychic readings or whatever? The proof is in the pudding. And those of us that do this work, if our stuff is on, we get new clients. If it's not, we don't, basically. And I think this work has been pretty on for the most part, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We're here in the present moment, and that's all that matters. And so we're coming out of, I'd say, relatively calm, but it feels like things are stirring up. It feels like the pot is stirring a little bit. It could be because vaccines are becoming available to more people, and that may stir up that whole debate again. Whether it's better to get the shot and protect ourselves and to help us achieve herd immunity. I guess that's the term that's being used now. Or if it's smarter to not, and to allow things to run their course, so to speak, because long-term effects are not known yet. And that I think that's where a lot of conjecture comes in. And then, yes, there's conspiracy theories also around certain elements, which I'm not going to go into this morning. Don't worry. Oh, good. I didn't lose anybody. But people have their own ideas, their own opinions, and their own takes on things. I think because this is starting to become more available, these debates are going to start to kick up again. And I think in the next week or two, we're going to start to see more news about that, basically. But getting to what I feel is in our hearts as this group right now is, this is very emotional energy. And the moon card, sometimes it worries, sometimes it's scared, sometimes it's worried about our loved ones, what's going to happen to us, what's going to happen to our society. A lot of these fears, I will say, are exploited by media, by the powers that be. Whatever your take is on that, my take is that for at least since Roman times, and probably before then, there's always been a small groups that run large groups, basically. So on the planet now, and the power structure of the planet, there's a very small select few that have a say on what happens in different governments and different corporations or whatever. And words like the elite or deep state come up. When I was studying this stuff back in the 70s and 80s, we called it the grand plan. But by any other name, there is an agenda. The agenda is usually about power and money. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are being propagated through different right-wing groups, different left-wing groups. But it's possible, and I don't know the answer, so I'm not going to sound like I know everything, because I don't, but it's highly possible that these conspiracy theories are really smoke screens um, to veil what's really going on. And if anybody saw the movie Thrive when it was going on, and there's a lot of others like that, we can break this down into simple terms. Money is power. Where the money flows is probably where the conspiracies are. Where there's big money, there's big corruption. So it's not that complicated, but there's a lot of smoke screens. There's a lot of emotions being stirred up. And when our emotions are stirred up, we tend to not be in our brains. We tend to be in our bodies, because emotions are of the bodies, thoughts are of the mind. And when we're in those fight or flight emotions, it's very unhealthy. Like, it's good that we have fight or flight emotions, because if we're ever chased by a tiger, that gives us super awareness, super strength. But when it becomes a habitual response to society and what's going on in the world, it becomes very detrimental to our health. And not this week, but next week, I'm going to do a video on natural health and healing, because I've been fortunate enough to been able to heal from lifelong, so-called incurable illness through working with these principles and working with this energy. So, getting back to I've been talking about the cards, but getting back to more of the tangible meanings of that, with all that background information, we can let all this stuff go, and we're being called upon to really practice our presence and really work on either doing our own shadow work, understanding our own subconscious patterns and healing them and changing them, or just being present and just letting go of like the fear and anxiety that's in the collective consciousness, that's propagated by the news, that's propagated by media, and therefore propagated by each other. And really, look at things just the way they are, rather than, our feelings kind of what's the right word, distort our perceptions of reality. So it's very emotional energy with the moon. It's very binding energy with the uh, Eight of Swords, and it's very heavy and responsibility laden energy with the Ten of Wands or Rod. But they're all reversed. We can let that all go. And anybody that's really attracted to this channel, to this work, to mediumship in general, spirituality, understand, has a perception on what's going on, and understands that that we really need to come into our power as a collective, and to come into our faith and our connection to God or spirit, basically. So we may see a little bit of back and forth stuff with the things like the stimulus check. I think the administration's needing to let one or two things go to pass this. I think what it's showing is by the end of the week, unless that happened already. I look at headlines, but I try to stay away from news as much as possible. Then I think it passed the Senate actually, or it's about to. And anyway, not that important. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned an uptick in earthquakes in the reading. That's been happening. There's been about 3 or 4 pretty major earthquakes around the world the last 2 weeks. I think that seismic activity may continue. And Mother Earth is alive, and we're all part of Mother Earth, and it's all a system of it's an energetic system where it's all connected, so we're one with everything. And things like earthquakes and volcanoes form new land. Nothing negative about it, but other than it displaces people and kills people, but that's just natural process. And things like viruses too are part of natural process. So the earth is a system. It's a closed system, or I don't know if I'm describing that right. Scratch that. I don't like the way that sounds, closed system, but it's a system that it's a whole system, I want to say. And everything's trying to seek a balance, like weather's trying to seek a balance. There's more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, more methane in the atmosphere. These are greenhouse gases. The earth is getting warmer. Weather systems are trying to balance that out. Populations are getting larger. There's more pollution on the earth. This holistic system of the earth creates viruses to try to ease that, to try to balance that out, basically. So with the current issue that we're dealing with, it's a terrible thing, but it's nature's way, unless of course it's not nature. But again, no proof of one way or the other. But the point being is that this could very well be a natural phenomena on the earth, because as we eradicate one illness and there's a need to balance things out, nature's going to create a new one, basically, and that's how it's going to go. So anyways, let's do an angel card and finish up for the day. Oh, here they are. Excuse me. My angel cards are off camera. So these are Doreen Virtue's messengers of the angels. As we find a little message for us. So just in summation, I think this is our week, this group, live or not live. This is showing us work on that letting go. And letting go is simply a matter of being present and just setting the intention that I'm connecting with spirit or higher energies or higher frequencies, and just not going into thoughts, or if you catch yourself going into negative thoughts or fears or anxiety or whatever, start to take long deep breaths. Inhale from the diaphragm and inhale love, exhale and release that stress and worry. So in all the spiritual work, letting go is often the hardest part. But let go, let God, right? So when we hold on to things, we don't allow things to really move swiftly in our lives. When we let go, then spirit or energy can help us to to create things, or to make the changes that we need to make. So let go of the stress the best of your ability. Let go of the fear. Let go of prejudgment. And really work on ourselves. That's the other thing with that moon card, is really like self-reflection, because the moon reflects the sunlight. So a lot of self-reflection around this week. So anyways, the angel card for today is Sonia. This is, I think I said this was one of Doreen Virtue's decks. That's what Sonia looks like in the messengers from the angels. And I'm going to turn it around and attempt to read this. I bring you a message from your deceased loved ones. I'm happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. So it's really about spirit communication, obviously, given the message. And I feel like it's spirit's way of saying, take a little bit of time to talk to your loved ones on the other side. And if you set an intention and clear your mind, intention in the energetic realms moves mountains. So when we set an intention, we clear our minds to talk to our loved ones, just be aware of what subtle feelings come in. Like do you feel like your emotions subtly shift, or do you smell something like perfume that somebody wore, or are you seeing somebody's image, or are you getting what's called clairsentience, just knowing a certain loved one is here? chances are when that happens, and you're, again, if you're not thinking, but you're allowing yourself to be present, anything you perceive is coming from spirit. That's why we get present. If and I stress this a lot, whether I'm doing a video on law of attraction or mediumship, it comes down to the same thing. When you're present, you become open to the universe. When you're in thought, you shut it down, basically. So this is their way of saying, get guidance from the angels, also get messages from the angelic realm. And maybe it's also Spirit's way of saying to tell you guys that on March 21st is when I'm going to do my next a free mediumship event or demonstration here on the Medium channel. So that'll be 7 Eastern time, March 21st, and a week from Wednesday. I don't know the date. I'm going to do my next angelic channeling here on the channel also, or spiritual channeling. So it's energetic for those that join us. A lot of people feel the energy because we're able to connect. When we connect energetically, it's independent of time and space. You can go back to one that I did on Christmas, or on Yule, actually, on December 21st, and tap into the energy then also. So yeah, we're atomic structures, 99% empty space, the rest of it's energy. So we're energetic beings. So when we do this work, Spirit works through me, and then we connect energetically, and you guys feel the energy, and it works on your nervous systems, your auras, your body, and your energy fields also. And the goal of this, or the purpose of it, is to make our is to prepare us, or to make our system stronger, because the vibrations that we're experiencing here on planet Earth are increasing, and that creates not stress, but changes in our bodies and changes in our energy fields. So doing these transmissions helps to strengthen those, and helps to prep you for higher vibrations, higher frequencies, leading to your awakening. And that's what we do on the Medium channel. My job here is to help you with your awakening process. So anyway, that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you, as always, for being part of this work, being part of this channel and everything. And next upload on Thursday is, it's about signs that that you might get, if you happen to have crossed the veil and gone to the other side. So this is going to be the 11 signs of the afterlife, or what it's like on the afterlife in the spirit world. So I'm gonna go through 11 different signs that I've experienced, or that those that have come through during my mediumship work have told me, or that I've read in about a half dozen or so books that I've read on the subject. So that's what I have. Have a wonderful, fabulous day, everybody. And I'm going to go out and get some sunshine. It's about 25 out or so, not bad for the winter. And next week, spring comes to the East Coast, or at least a taste of spring. So that's, and I'm glad that the Southern Plains and the Great Plains, and that whole area in the Midwest that suffered so much from this talk about weather extremes and global warming. People don't always understand why we have like record colds during a time when the Earth's supposedly warming up, but that happens. The oscillations of extremes happen. That's part of the balancing mechanism I was talking about. So the Great Plains were way, way below average, but still 98% of the planet was above average during that time. The United States, the lower 48, only makes up like less than 2% of the globe. So anyways, that's what I have. Have a wonderful day. We're going to end the stream now. Oh, and if anybody has a personal question, you can come back when this is a video, leave a comment, and I'll pull a card and answer that for you. So have a blessed, wonderful day, and stay safe.